Hey, um, this is my other side of my office. You can see my plants are back here. And this is the other side where my computer is and where I do most of my work. I wanted to give you a kind of quick overview so that you won't leave about what happened in 2024. I started my freelance writing career as sort of a jack of all trades, but in more marketing. That was my background professionally. I was a director of marketing for a long time, and that's what I knew. And that kind of veered into personal finance because that was just a really hot topic right around lockdown and the pandemic and everything, where people trying to figure out how to navigate this crazy economy. And that started to dry up really badly at the end of 2023. AI became more and more prevalent in my business, where it wasn't really about the quality of the work, it was just the quantity, and AI can just produce hundreds of things where I could only produce tens, maybe. So I was really struggling in 2024 and had houseplants. I started collecting really seriously more in the pandemic 2021, 2022 area. So while I was out looking for writing gigs, I saw that Static Media was looking for editors for their food blogs, one of their food blogs. Talking to the recruiter, found out that they actually also needed writers for House Digest. And all of that sort of transpired into me, like, I don't know HGTV very well. I don't know, like, I had a home decor blog, but that was more about me trying to figure out my own stuff and not like how to be like Martha Stewart. So I wasn't really good with those subjects, but what I was good with were gardening articles. And I kind of became one of their de facto gardening writers because I would just always take those topics. They were really interesting to me. And the more that I got into writing for them, the more I got into learning about PubMed and all these scientific journals. And it really changed the way that I thought about both my writing and horticultural stuff, biology, plant care. I never thought I would be someone who was writing or speaking with any sort of authority on hard science subjects. Like, I thought I would be more of a churning out how to get out of credit card debt articles, that kind of thing. So this was a big transformation for me this year. And consequently, a lot of my effort for my YouTube and my own sideline work really became less about marketing, less about business, and more about plants and aquatic plants. And I moved from the Beige House, which was my kind of catch-all decor blog, into Plantrums. Last year, I would have never thought that this was going to be a thing. Like, I had a couple of plant videos back then, maybe like even in 2022, but to move completely into this vein, this niche, is kind of completely unexpected for me. That's the background. Let's get right up to today. It's December 2024, and I've started to think about what I want to do in 2025, right? As you can see, here's my board. Blank. I am a literal blank slate for 2025. And as someone with inattentive ADHD, I am not a planner, clearly. I would love to be, but resolutions, things like that, they don't work for me. And I stumbled across a video by CJP Gray, who I love. I've followed his channel for years, but I hadn't seen this video until recently. And it was about how resolutions are dumb, but themed years are better because they're sort of, it kind of goes against that whole SMART goals thing of everything's specific and measured and actionable, blah, blah, blah. And more, it's about an all-encompassing theme, which I really love. I think that is easier for a person to stick to or make it work for what's happened. You know what I mean? So I've decided that my theme is going to be resilience in 2025. And in terms of how that's going to work for this channel, I don't want to get political. So I'm gonna kind of dance lightly on this. My husband and I are both freelance writers. And like I said, AI has really completely changed our market and made things just completely 180 from a couple of years ago. Like our 10-year wedding anniversary trip to Tokyo would not be doable now with our finances. It's just the nature of our work and our freelance lifestyle. So the possible upcoming changes to the cost of everything with new tariffs, that's a big deal for us. In light of the thought of resilience as my next year's theme, I've decided to venture into the world of farming, essentially agriculture, and growing our own food. So I'm going to start a raised garden bed. But that's challenging for me because of ADHD. It's really hard to keep consistent anything. And to be totally frank, it's kind of surprising to me that I have been able to ride this botany passion for so long. I don't have any thoughts of it wavering. I hope, God, but it's sort of been different. And I have never really had this kind of sustained and enthusiasm or passion for something for so long. Maybe it's because I do it as work too. I'm not sure, but it's one of those things like just don't question it. Just accept it and be happy about it. Another challenge is permanence. And maybe that's like an offset of my ADHD. I don't know, but we want to replace our fence in the upcoming years. So I've been really hesitant to plant anything around the border, much less install giant garden bed structures, you know? And you think with the dozens and dozens of articles that I have written about outdoor gardening that this would just be like a no-brainer, easy peasy for me, but I've rarely covered food and I've rarely covered farming. It's mostly just been like ground covers for bare spaces and stuff like that. You know, it hasn't been any sort of productive gardening. And I don't mean to insult outdoor flower gardening or anything like that. It's just, it hasn't been in my purview for food or things like that. So this thought and this journey so far has been totally overwhelming, especially with planning already. Like I've downloaded multiple apps to like plan gardens and they're all lacking in what I need, which is idiot proofness, basically. Also, maximizing usage is like succession planting, rotating out crops to like use the whole area. I've got one 4x3 bed that I got for clearance at Big Lots. I've got grow bags for potatoes, and I have a stacked 4-tier planter. Those are like right now my only things that I have that I can dedicate to this cause. I would love to not have to buy more beds to make room for the things that I want to grow, but the more I read, the less likely I think it is that I can just stick to one bed to what I've got. In addition, I've got a new order coming from Seed Geeks of a couple of different foods that we eat. We'll see how it goes. But I've gone to Epic Gardening's videos. I've gone to other YouTubers' videos, vegetable gardening subreddits. You know, like I'm trying to get into this world, but it's completely overwhelming for me for what I need and when. Like irrigation, I probably do need something like that because of my ADHD. It makes it really hard to keep a routine of watering. But the area is not really that close to a spigot, so it's kind of, you know, like there's all of these little kind of parts that are scary for failure, or they are easy to fail at. So this is going to be a journey for me a little bit. I wanted to do this video for a couple of different reasons. One, it's plant-related stuff that's in my brain, so it's relevant, I hope. Two, it's an excuse not to do the writing work that I'm supposed to be doing. Just kind of don't feel like it right now. Three, I also I wanted to do this video in a very organic, unscripted kind of way to show you that channels like mine aren't experts at day one about all of this stuff. In fact, speaking generally, but very much personally for myself, there are projects that I will try, or projects that will fail. There are folders full of scrapped videos that have turned out to be really detrimental. I don't know what to do with. I actually might put those in a members area next year. I was thinking about like, maybe that's a good way. I don't know. But my point is we muster on. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this video, to tell you that I've got a new project in my brain, and this is probably a start to a new playlist. And I hope that you'll follow it and come with me on my journey for resilience in 2025, horticultural or otherwise. So yeah, not sure what else to say. So I guess that's probably a good sign to end the video. I will be back next week with a little more into this, maybe, or maybe an actual decent video that teaches you something instead of me just rambling to the camera. Also, I am going to go do my writing assignments now. I promise. I will see you next year in the next video. Take care.